Hello and a very warm welcome to the brand new edition of Parliament This Week, your weekly roundup of all important developments in Parliament. I'm Kriti Mishra and now let's begin the show. For the first time in the history of Indian Parliament since 1952, the chambers and the galleries of both houses will be used to hold the monsoon session of Parliament. The Rajya Sabha Secretariat has been working overtime for the last 2 weeks to ensure full preparedness by the third week of this month for the session. RSTV and LSTV, through their existing arrangements in both the houses, will enable live telecast of the proceedings of the two houses, besides displaying the proceedings of each of the houses on the screens in the other house. Here's a detailed report.
Following a meeting between Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla on 17th of July, preparations have been made to ensure that Rajya Sabha Chamber and galleries in the Lok Sabha Chamber will be used for seating members during monsoon session. The seating arrangements will include 60 members in the chamber and 51 in the galleries of Rajya Sabha, leaving out the first row for social distancing. The rest 132 members will be seated in the chamber of Lok Sabha. Various parties will be allotted seat in the chamber and galleries of Rajya Sabha based on respective strength. The rest will be seated in chamber of Lok Sabha in two blocks meant for ruling and the other parties. In the Rajya Sabha chamber, seats will be earmarked for the Prime Minister, Leader of the House, Leader of Opposition and Leader of other parties. Former Prime Minister and former Leader of the House, Dr. Manmohan Singh and H.D. Devagowda, besides Ramvilas Paswan and Ramdas Athawale, being members and members of the House, will also have earmarked seats in the chamber of the House. Other ministers will be seated in the seats meant for the ruling party. 4 large display screens of 85 inches each in the chamber and another 6 of 40 inches each in 4 galleries of the House will allow members to watch proceedings. Seats in the galleries will be fitted with consoles to enable participation of members in proceedings of the House from their seats. Placards will indicate parties accommodated in each gallery of the Rajya Sabha. Special cables will connect both houses for transmitting audiovisual signals of the proceedings both ways without any time lag. Polycarbonate sheets will separate the official gallery of Rajya Sabha from chamber as both are in close proximity. An ultraviolet germicidal irradiation system in the air conditioning system of Rajya Sabha for killing the bacteria and virus in the air supply. 15 people will be accommodated in the official gallery and the press gallery. Only a limited number of Secretariat staff will be seated at the table of the House. Reporters taking verbatim notes of the proceedings of the House will be accommodated in special box meant for foreign dignitaries. The 3 interpretation booths for Rajya Sabha will be integrated with audio systems for simultaneous interpretation. RSTV and LSTV, through their existing arrangements in both the House, will enable live telecast of the proceedings of 2 houses, besides displaying the proceedings of each of the House on the screens in the House. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu also directed Secretariat officials to minimize the need for members to physically handle various papers by ensuring necessary arrangements. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And moving on now, BJP candidate Jai Prakash Nishad was declared elected to Rajya Sabha unopposed from Uttar Pradesh on Monday. Nishad was the lone candidate to have filed nomination for the by-election, and Monday was the last date for withdrawal of candidature. The Rajya Sabha by-poll to fill the seat vacated due to the death of former Samajwadi Party leader Amar Singh will be held on September 11th, the Election Commission announced on Friday. Amar Singh had died in a Singapore hospital on August 1st due to kidney-related complications. His term as a Rajya Sabha member from Uttar Pradesh was till July 2022.
The Election Commission announced on Friday that the notification will be issued on 25th August and the election will be held on 11th September. Counting of votes will be held the same evening after the conclusion of voting. Amar Singh passed away on 1st August due to kidney-related complications. His term as a Rajya Sabha member from Uttar Pradesh was till July 2022. The Election Commission also approved guidelines for the conduct of general and by-elections amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The poll panel has also created an optional facility to submit the nomination form and the affidavit online after taking print before the returning officer concerned. For the first time, candidates will have the option to deposit security amount for contesting the elections online. The number of people, including the candidate for door-to-door campaign, has been limited to 5. Public meeting and road shows will be allowed with suitable instructions subject to containment instructions. Face masks, sanitizer, thermal scanners, gloves, face shield and PPE kits shall be used during the voting with social distancing norms. Hand gloves will be provided to all electors for signing on the voter register and pressing the button of EVM for voting. The chief electoral officers of concerned states and union territories will be required to make comprehensive election plans on the arrangements and preventive measures. These plans will be prepared in consultation with the nodal officer for COVID-19 in states and union territories.
And moving on now, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla attended 5th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament via video conferencing. Speaker Om Birla is leading an Indian parliamentary delegation to the conference. The conference is being organized jointly by Inter-Parliamentary Union, Geneva and Parliament of Austria with support of the UN. Here's a detailed report.
Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the conference is being held through virtual means. The theme this year is Parliamentary Leadership for More Effective Multilateralism that delivers peace and sustainable development for the people and planet. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla took part in the virtual conference along with MPs Rajiv Pratap Rudy and Meenakshi Lekhi and Lok Sabha Secretary General Snehlata Srivastav. Birla spoke during the panel discussion on improving governance by bridging the gap between parliaments and the people. Calling for multilateralism to combat the pandemic, Birla urged the world community to join hands in overcoming the crisis.
लगभग एक शताब्दी के बाद आज संपूर्ण मानव जाति फिर एक अस्तित्व के संकट से जूझ रही है। कोविड-19 महामारी ने विश्व के सभी देशों को अभूतपूर्व मानवीय एवं आर्थिक क्षति पहुंचाई है। कोई भी देश छोटा हो या बड़ा इससे अकेले लड़ने में सक्षम नहीं है। इस भीषण त्रासदी के समय में बहुपक्षवाद की समस्त विपदाओं के निराकरण का सर्वोत्तम माध्यम है, चाहे कोविड-19 का इलाज हो या अर्थव्यवस्था का पुनरुद्धार हो, सभी देशों को मिलकर काम करना पड़ेगा।
And India on Thursday gave a befitting reply to Pakistan at the 5th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament and asked the international community to isolate Pakistan for sponsoring terrorism. The Indian Parliament, led by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, exercised its right of reply to underline that Pakistan admitted that there are militants on its soil.
The Indian Parliament, led by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, exercised its right of reply after Pakistan raised the Kashmir issue at the event. Birla asserted that Jammu and Kashmir is an integral part of India. He also warned Pakistan that New Delhi's overtures should not be seen as a sign of weakness. Criticizing Islamabad, Birla underlined that Pakistan's Prime Minister himself admitted that there are nearly 40,000 terrorists on its soil. Birla said Pakistan's aggressions against Jammu and Kashmir in 1965, 1971, 1999 and attacks on Mumbai, Indian Parliament, Uri and Pulwama expose its state-sponsored policy of terrorism. The Indian Parliament also highlighted that the UN Analytical Support Sanctions Monitoring Team mentions Pakistan as the leading exporter of terror with more than 6,000 nationals currently engaged in terrorism.
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu cautioned that development challenges will become more difficult to resolve as the population size increases. He was addressing the gathering virtually after releasing two reports, Status of Sex Ratio at Birth in India and Elderly Population in India, Status and Support Systems, brought out by the Indian Association of Parliamentarians for Population and Development.
Addressing the virtual event at his official residence, the Vice President cautioned that development challenges will become more difficult to resolve as population size increases. In this regard, the Vice President pointed out that India's population is projected to grow to 1.52 billion by 2036. He also welcomed the IAPPD's focus on population and development, saying that we must recognize the connection between the two.
Families must plan their population. It's not the government alone. Everybody should think about this issue. As the population size increases, developmental challenges become more and more. It's not that development has not taken place. Whatever you have, you share it. Nah? So you plan the family accordingly. And then move on. The delivery of basic services to reduce poverty is also an important aspect.
Calling for a revival of the joint family system, Venkaiah Naidu said our family system must serve as an example for other countries. The Vice President also expressed distress over reports of neglect of the elderly.
It should be remembered that we are a civilization that has always accorded respect for elderly. We have given the most esteem and also respect to our elders. Even Manusmriti, one of our ancient texts, has this statement: if one serves the elderly with devotion, he or she is blessed with a long life, sound education, fame and strength.
Expressing concern over India's persistent skewed sex ratio, Naidu called it a silent emergency that has serious consequences for the stability of our society. He said we must ensure adequate reservation for women in Parliament and all state legislatures, while urging all political parties to arrive at a speedy consensus on this.
I should suggest that there should be a wider debate on these issues, and the public representatives must focus more. Madam was explaining about number of questions and subject asked by members, area of interest and all. These issues, they are very much important. One is 50% of the population, other is 20% of the population. Proportional concern is not being shown for whatever reason it is. So I suggest that there should be wider discussion and wider dissemination of this information.
The Vice President called for greater attention from public representatives, policy planners, political parties and other important stakeholders to issues of eradicating poverty, illiteracy and social evils like gender discrimination. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And emphasizing on the importance of agriculture in India, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has urged researchers and scientists to come up with innovations to address the problems faced by the farmers. Speaking at a virtual meeting, VP Naidu said, and I quote, "From providing timely information to farmers on various issues to creating cold storage facilities and supplying new technologies should be the focus of innovators and researchers," unquote. He also stressed the need for preventing farmers' exploitation by middlemen and ensuring remunerative prices for their produce. Take a look at this report.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has once again called upon researchers and scientists to pay greater attention to agriculture and come up with innovations to address the problems faced by farmers. Speaking after releasing the Atal rankings of institutions on innovation achievements on Tuesday, Naidu said from providing timely information on various issues to farmers to creating cold storage facilities and supplying new technologies should be the focus of innovators and researchers.
The youth of the country must be motivated to join the developmental path more aggressively, while our scientists and researchers must come up with innovations and solutions. They must focus on making the lives of the people more comfortable, happy. Since science is very important, Science must also be used to make agriculture more productive and create greater wealth for the farmer.
Emphasizing on the need for India's higher education system to play the role of an enabler and force multiplier to drive Indian innovation and startup ecosystem, the Vice President said innovation must become the heartbeat of education. For this, he urged educational institutions to reinvent themselves to create essential conditions for innovation to thrive.
There was a time when India was known as Viswaguru, and students from many countries came to study at our universities. Nalanda, Takshashila, Vikramshila, Pushpagiri were some of the great centers of learning. We must regain that intellectual leadership. We must once again emerge as a global hub of learning and innovation.
In the Atal Ranking of Institutions on Innovation Achievements 2020, IIT Madras retained the top rank in the Institute of National Importance Index, followed by IIT Bombay and IIT Delhi. Indian Institute of Science Bengaluru and IIT Kharagpur are ranked 4th and 5th respectively. Among higher educational institutions exclusively for women, the top rank went to Avinashalingam Institute for Home Sciences and Higher Education in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. The second place was clinched by Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University for Women, New Delhi. In the government and government-aided universities category, the top rank was bagged by Mumbai's Institute of Chemical and Technology, while Chandigarh's Punjab University stood in the second position. Chaudhry Charan Singh Haryana Agriculture University has been ranked third. A total of 674 institutions took part in the rankings. An initiative of the Ministry of Education, Atal Ranking of Institutions on Innovation Achievements aims to promote innovation among Indian educational institutions and assess colleges and varsities on various parameters, including entrepreneurship development and innovative learning methods. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are all the updates about parliamentary committees. Take a look.
The committee meeting chaired by BJP MP Shiv Pratap Shukla lasted over an hour. 6 members were present at the meeting, including new member V. Vijay Sai Reddy. In the Parliamentary Standing Committees on Energy, representatives of the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy gave a presentation on Energy Action Plan for achievement of 175 gigawatts of renewable energy target. The Public Accounts Committee also met to prioritize the subjects pertaining to the Ministry of Defence. The Committee on Public Undertakings held discussions in connection with the comprehensive examination of Hindustan Antibiotics Limited. Apart from this, a meeting of the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Personal Data Protection Bill 2019 was also held in the Parliament House complex.
Ministry of Mines Secretary Anil Kumar Jain made a presentation on the development of aluminium and copper industries in India. The committee headed by BJP MP Rakesh Singh had held its 2 meetings earlier this month. Meanwhile, the Standing Committee on Petroleum and Natural Gas discussed in detail the pricing of petroleum products in India. Petroleum Secretary Tarun Kapoor made a presentation on pricing, marketing and supply of petroleum products by oil marketing companies. The committee is headed by BJP MP Ramesh Bidhuri. 18 MPs were present at the meeting, including Rajya Sabha members Chaudhry Sukhram Singh Yadav, Om Prakash Mathur, Kanta Kardam, among others.
The panel will discuss the issue of alleged misuse of social media platforms amid claims that Facebook did not apply hate speech rules to certain BJP leaders. The committee has also asked representatives of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology to remain present to discuss safeguarding citizens' rights and prevent misuse of social online news media platforms, including special emphasis on women's security in the digital space. Meanwhile, on Thursday, committee member and BJP leader Nishikant Dubey wrote to Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla seeking removal of Shashi Tharoor as the panel's chairman. He alleged that the Congress leader was using the platform to further his political agenda.
And that's all we have for you in this edition of Parliament This Week. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Rajya Sabha TV.